predictions. Welcome to 2023. Please grab a notebook. Please take notes on your iPhone notes. You can do that if you're listening to this on YouTube. Please follow me on TikTok. That's where I break down charts for the world. And follow me on Instagram if you want to learn your chart on live and listen to current updates. Watch the stories. Thank you. Anyways, if you're new here, let's find out how do you find your birth chart. So let's begin on that sense. First, you want to go to this website, AstroSeek. You want to use the birth chart online calculator. I like to use AstroSeek. You can use whatever website you want. I like to look at the entire chart for this purposes, okay? So when you get to this point right here, you want to put in your birth information. The place you were born at. So I was born in New York, so I'm just going to put New York. If you do not have your time of birth, that is okay. Click unknown for right now. Generate your chart. You're going to get a picture just like this, right? So here's what you're going to do. You're going to look at what is your sun sign. It's this symbol right here. It looks like a sun with a dot in it, or the circle with a dot, whatever. It's going to be focused on the sign the month you were born. So if you're a Capricorn, and the degree will explain the day you were born. So if it was the 10 degrees, would be the 1st of January. Anyways, you also want to take a look at where your moon resides. If you do not have your time of birth or a range of when you were born, it's going to give you for that day where it would have been for that specific day. So for instance, it would have been a Libra anyways. So that means you're going to know that your moon is in Libra. Those are the two things you're going to listen to. So when you listen to these readings, you want to listen to your sun sign and you want to listen to your moon sign. Now, because you do not know your time of birth, you can't really use the moon sign, right? Like as much as the sun sign, unless you know the specific time. But here's what you want to know. If you are born in the day, let's say, for instance, you knew you were born in a day, use your sun sign. If you are a man, please use your sun sign. Okay, what else? Also, the sun sign will explain your external output. So things that happen in your career will be seen in the sun sign reading. So when you listen to the sun sign, it's going to describe to you more of your career, things that you can externally view, okay? Also, this could be even your health for your sun sign. For the moon sign, it will be more internal. So for women, it's important for us to listen to our moon signs for changes in our moods. Also for women or people that were born at night, if you're a child or if you were still under your 30s. So if you're in your 20s, definitely pay attention to your moon sign. It's more important. This will show you more home stuff, more internal battles, and more personal relationships. So your friends and your, immediate people, like family. Now, for those that do have their time of birth, which means you do have the time of birth, you're going to click unknown. Let's say you were born on 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's just say you want to put Placidus, okay? Or for instance, you want to put Placidus first. One way to view your chart, okay, is going to show you that rising sign degree. If you know the exact time of birth, that means you looked at your birth certificate, not what your mom told you. Repeat. So, for instance, let's say you are in Aries. This will be more of this reading you will listen to. The rising sign, it will help you put together things that actually happen to your body, your direct moves, okay? The actual events that are happening according to the sun. So whenever the sun focuses on these houses, it will be more accurate of a reading. So those are the things that I want to inform you of. So this is your rising sign, your first house, your ascendant, your lagna, okay? I hope that makes sense for everyone out there. Now, this is another way to view your chart, which is called the whole signs. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something from this part. Okay, so now that you have your whole sign, let's say you have your time of birth, you look at your sun sign degree, you look at your moon degree, and then you look at your rising sign degree. Whichever is first, you listen to first. So if your rising sign is the largest degree, listen to that first. Then, like for instance, the moon is the second largest, you listen to that after, and then your sun sign. I hope that makes sense to the things that you've learned today. Thank you. Important dates of 2023. So you might want to write these down, put this in your calendar. These are the important dates. So starting off with Saturn, the planet of karma and time lord, will be shifting signs after being 3 years in Aquarius, will be entering Pisces March 7th, and it will be there all the way to 2025, I believe. Up next, you also want to jot down that when it goes retrograde, it will be June 17th through the November 4th of 2023. Then we're going to also experience when Jupiter enters Aries, which it already has in 2023. But in May 16th, Jupiter will end its transit in Aries and it will enter Taurus, and it will be there for 2023. So May 16th, this is important. Jupiter, the planet of joy, the belief system, the focus of the year, really, after the sun. This is the goal or the abundance or the opportunity of the year will be entering Taurus. May 16 to 2023. Around September 4th till the end of the year, it will go retrograde. Jupiter will enter retrograde in Taurus. Also, a notable date that you should also put down, it is June 1st. So June 1st is an important date for a Jupiter and the North Node in Taurus at 2 degrees. So please pay attention to that. If you have this as a main player, as a main pillar, Taurus, Leo, Aquarius, and Scorpio. Okay, up next, we're going to have the eclipses, okay? We're going to have 4 eclipses. Write down these days. One day will be April 20th. It will be an eclipse in Aries at 29 degrees. It is a new moon, okay? And Mars will be in Cancer then, okay? So the next one will be a full moon on May 5th, and it will be at 14 degrees Scorpio. Okay, and it's a full moon, and Mars will be at 21 degrees. We have up in the middle of the year, it will be in October 14th. We'll have a 21 degrees Libra new moon eclipse, and Venus will be in Virgo. Okay, also, and we'll end the eclipses for 2023 in October 28th, which will be a 5 degrees Taurus full moon eclipse, and Venus will be in Virgo. Also, notable mention will be in July 22. Well, excuse me, starting June 5th, June 5th, we'll have Venus in Leo, and all the way to October 8th, Venus will remain in Leo, which is important. It's a very long transit for a personal planet or interpersonal, whatever. Which is Venus rules relationship, money, desires, okay, women. So it's very important to know this. Also, food. Venus will also go retrograde July 22nd, okay, and it will stay retrograde till September 3rd of 2023. It will go retrograde at 28 degrees Leo. And let's see when it enters back in September. I believe it will be, let's see, since I have you here, Venus will be all the way at 12 degrees Leo. It's important. So write down these degrees so you can also look for this in your natal chart. Another notable mention is a Pluto. Not notable, it's very important. So in March 23 of 2023, Pluto will enter Aquarius, and it will go to 0 degrees all the way to May 1st. Okay, so on May 1st, Pluto will enter retrograde. Let's see what that will be, 2023. And it'll still be at 0 degrees, 21 minutes, apparently. So let me just make sure. Let's put New York, because I am in New York. Thank you for watching. Hello. Duh. So yeah, May 1st, if I'm not mistaken, let's just put May 2nd. Pluto will be retrograding back into Capricorn, and it will be there actually June 11th, okay? It will be actually in Capricorn for the rest of 2023, and it will go direct in October 10th at 27 degrees, which is an important degree. That is a Gemini degree. It will represent and it will be shown in the mercurial things in life. And then Pluto will enter Aquarius officially January 20th, 2024, which happens to also be America's inauguration day. Interesting. Thank you for listening to this. Please write down those dates. Sagittarius. Anyway, Sun, Moon, and Rising. I'm specifically talking about if you're a Sun in Sag, listen to the career and the health. If you're a Moon in Sag, listen to the relationship parts. Yeah, let's get started. Oh, well, just listen to the whole thing. Some of it will resonate, okay? Thank you. Anyways, let's get started. We're going to do your career, health, and wealth. And then we're going to do your relationships. So let's go in there. Sagittarius. A couple things that are happening. That way you understand things when I read them. Saturn rules your finances alongside the transits of the moon. This is for both sun, moon, and rising. So trust me, whatever Saturn does, if you hear me say retrograde, write down those dates, put those in your calendar so they can remind you. Okay. Mercury rules your relationships and your career, apparently. Sagittarius, your status or your type of bosses that you have. Okay. And then your health is ruled by the transits of Venus also, which is also like your work environment, but we'll talk about that when it gets there. So let's just dive right in. A couple things that are going to happen. So Jupiter is going to be in Aries and then Taurus, which means Jupiter is going to trine you first from now all the way to May 16th. Jupiter will be in Aries. Jupiter rules you, your body, yourself, your identity, you. The sun in Sag is ruled by Jupiter, really. So when Jupiter is in the 5th house, you're looking for love, you're looking for more fun, you're looking to learn, you're looking to do things with your children. There might be events going on with children in your life. And that might be a theme for you. Let's see. Hang on, I just gotta follow. Let me look for my paper so I can keep it here. Okay. What? Okay. Sorry. Okay, sorry. I was just looking at something. I was like, what the fuck? Okay. Let's talk about that. So, Jupiter is gonna go into that 5th house. It's gonna make you want to get started on a project. Is an idea house. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be more outing, so it makes you want to go out more. It makes you want to go have fun, honestly. And then it's also the ruler of your 4th going in there, so there might be more family events, gatherings. Maybe your family has a new member, because the ruler is going into the 5th house. So it looks good when Jupiter is in Aries. Jupiter will enter your Taurus house, will be in Taurus by May 16th. And it's going to join the Uranus and the North Node. Now, Uranus has been there since 2018, slowly changing your jobs and your debt and karmic situations that popped up, any health stuff, things with pets, things with your aunts, uncles, cousins may have been popping off since 2018 because that's what that house is all about. The North Node is more like a fool's gold. It came over later on last year. And it's also representing Aquarius. And it's things that happen fast. They're not really attainable. So let's make sure you can see the difference. So again, Uranus in the North Node comes from your 3rd house. Aquarius, the Aquarius energy, which is 3 signs from away from you. Sun, Moon, and Rising. So what's the 3rd house? 3rd house is their communications, legal, like paperwork, not legal, but paperwork that you needed to get done, perfecting skill sets. Like I'm a North Node Sag, and I've just been perfecting a skill set that is astrology for me. Then short distance traveling, being able to, excuse me, what? I'm sorry. Yeah. This is also a karmic house. And when I say karmic, it's debt, like loans sometimes that you had to take care of, or situations from like, and is the 8th house is debt also, other people's money, but the 6th house is really like you signed up for some credit card and whatever, and you're still dealing with it now, right? Like for instance, I don't have any loans, but I've been doing a lot of crypto stuff. I did lose a lot of money there. Then I made it back, but that's not the 5th house of crypto, but it was like what did I do that was loan based? I'll get back to you that. Anyways, so when Jupiter goes into the sixth house after May in 16th and joining the rest of the two planets, it will change your job, your work environment, your co-workers. If you've been having an underlying health condition, it'll be a time for you to go handle that, because the six, again, Jupiter rules you, Sag, and it'll go into the sixth house, and you have to have a better time management, getting some more rest. Some of you spend money on going on family trips or something like that, because it's kind of funny because I'm doing a similar thing. So keep that in mind. So that's what Jupiter will be bringing. And then Jupiter is going to go retrograde, which is important, between September 4th on the 15 degrees of Taurus to December 31st. So it's going to be starting from when the sun is transiting over your career house, and the later on in the year. September always changes your careers. So between, what is it? September is 1, 2, 3, 4 months with Jupiter retrograde. So I definitely want you to pay attention then, because the nodes will be, as you can see, this is December 30th, 2023. Look at the North Node. It's already in the South Node. Look at it. It's already in Libra and Aries, which is the North Node is trining you. And whenever the North Node is trining you, is bringing you that subtle, fast energy of like changes in your matrix. So for an example was the North Node was in Taurus. When it was in Taurus, I have a Virgo placement. So for instance, I was going viral online. The North Node is 11th house in my chart. So that's why I was like coming out. Now that said, the North Node is going to Aries, is a very good time to get picked, selected. This is good for performing. You want to pay attention more to your kids. Some of you have like lovers, have really intense situations in their life. Some lovers come back because the North Node is in the 5th house. You get into school, or you're learning something online. You start working on one of your ideas. This is later on in the year, by the way. Mind you, Mars at one point is going to keep transiting all over. Mars is the ruler of your 5th house of action and your 12th house of expenses and creative projects. And it's going to go into Libra around October, which I find interesting because you're going to be really focused on a goal around that time. Let's see if I could find out where. I think it'll be in Virgo. So, yeah, when Venus will be in Leo while Mars is in Libra. And we're going to talk about Venus and Leo, which will be in your 9th house for like 4 or 5 months. And then it'll go retrograde for like 3 months. So we'll talk about that. So that will be when Jupiter does go retrograde. It does change your living situations, things with your mother, your family, your emotional dealings with yourself. If you were working on a physical project, like, oh, you want to lose your weight, or you want to change, like I said, the crib, and then something, maybe retrograde slows it down or speeds it up. It depends on you if you have retrogrades and how retrograde works in your own natal chart. So keep that in mind. It's harder to keep up a routine then, because the 4th house is like activated, and it's like an emotional thing. So yeah, that's just my things for you. Let you know that. What else? Let's see. Health wise, let's talk about that. You have a lot of planets in your 6th house, so hopefully you're feeling good, Sagittarius. Hopefully it's just you doing side hustles. The 6th house is works that are coming out of nowhere. I don't know if you've experienced that, like, and that's good because there's a whole generation of Pluto and Sag who's been trying to get different jobs, and they're just trying different jobs, honestly. Similar to you, like I said, you may need to worry about like liver stuff, overdoing things like sugar, overdoing detoxing. So I want you to pay attention to that as well. That's why I wanted to bring it back up there. Also, Venus, let's talk about that now. Fuck it, because it's already here. Venus is the ruler of your 6th house. So being that is in Leo in your 9th house, the 9th house is about status, your relationship with your God, your relationship with life, how you feel life is going. If you feel life is like peachy and nice, that's how your own belief system. The 9th house is grandmother, grandparents, your father figure is also representing in this 9th house. Things with your name on it, like legal shit. So that's why some of you may be moving into your own place, and we're going to talk about that because of Saturn. And that makes sense why you have Venus in your 9th house, which means you, like, getting to a realtor, putting your name under the government system. I don't know. The ninth house does deal with the government somehow. Like I said, the Venus rules the sixth house, which is like this karmic house, which is the bill houses. People often are mistaken the eighth house as the house of debt or expenses, which it can be. The reason being is because it trines the 12th and your fourth. So yes, it can be about debt, but the sixth house refers to like where your money's going, and then because it's the second house of your whatever your chart you got going on will always trine the sixth house. So sometimes you have to put your money into work for you, meaning like you paying a house is because you want to have a shelter, because you want to be rested, so you go to work, right? So anyways, Gwen is going into the ninth house. Some of you are trying to find the solution, trying to get it done for whatever problem, because the sixth house does bring problems or challenges as well that come out of nowhere. Or maybe you're into advertising more. Maybe your business is about selling things and you're selling products online, because Pluto might be teaching you that soon, whatever. Because when Pluto goes into Aquarius, Sag, you're going to be the gift of gab even more. You are going to be selling, shipping, and handling. You're going to be the name that we want to go to. Your name could be very well known, your last name. So keep that in mind. This is, by the way, that's a 20-year transit, so don't rush, okay? So when Venus goes into Virgo, is probably, which will be, obviously, let's go look. Venus goes into Virgo around the 10th of October. And that could be a time where you literally get approved on something. Like if you've been waiting to get this job, the ninth house is applying to a job or working as a supervisor or learning or training to be whatever it is that you're learning or training to be, and getting a certification, getting registered in system. This is the house of the DMV. Whatever is going to go into the Virgo house, which means a house of success and shit got done. Long story short. Now, mind you, the reason why Venus is also important, because Venus is the 11th house of gains for you. So when this goes into this ninth house, you're really working on this really big goal to get, or your child becomes a priority, or you want to, like I said, you've been flying. I know a lot of Sag that are taking their kids out different places around the world. So by the way, also another key dates that I want to tell you about: March 23rd and June 11th. That's when Pluto switches, and I'm going to do another separate video on that, so don't worry. So let's go into when Jupiter goes into Taurus, your career gets a lot better. So from May 16 to October, there will be big changes, and you get more hours, or you get another job, or you start a different position. But because Taurus does trine your Virgo energy, again, Virgo rules your career status, okay? And it also rules and trines your second house. So there'll be way more potential for you to get money, while Jupiter in Aries brings you like this fast money. Okay. And let's talk about Mercury retrogrades, which also affects your relationships and businesses. Let's get into that. Retrogrades. Let's look at it. So the first retrograde, we're in the middle of it. I'm recording in it. January 18th, all the way then. And that's happening in your second house of family resources. So there could be stuff going on with your family. This could be changes in your resources, something that was owed to you back due retrogrades, things coming back. This could also be a change of things that you're eating, supplementing into your body. The second house is that, like I said, Mercury is the ruler of your 10th and your 7th. You have your partner is a little vulnerable. They may be having finances issues, or internal psychological issues, or stuff going on with their own family. So that could be a theme going on now. Then we have April 21st to May 14th, which is going to be happening around the 5th house to the 6th house away from you. Mercury will be in Taurus, and your 6th house signs away from you. That's how, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No matter what, even if you have the sun in Sag, it is still 6 signs away from you, okay? What does that mean? Which means at that time it's bringing in your 10th house and your 11th house and your 7th house into your 6th house, which talks about there may be some changes in your hours or routines or schedules, or something changes in your health regimen, or you have to deal with a problem from work, or your boss brings you more troubles or responsibilities around that time. Mercury changes things for you at work, at where your boss is, okay? Then Mercury is the ruler of your 7th house, which is actually the 6th house is the blind spot to your relationships. Not the 12th house, the 6th house. because it's the house right before your seventh house, which means that your partner around that time could be taking a loss. They could be far away from you on a trip. You get exposed or revealed to something that they were doing, especially if you notice the Taurus is happening to the early born Sagittariuses. So the first week to the November, you're the one that's going through it. Your partner may be also changing up his or her routines. Sleeping cycles change around that time, so keep that in mind. Then we have another retrograde, which it'll be in August 23rd to September 15th, again affecting a larger range of Sagittarius, all the way from like December 13th all the way to like November 23rd, whatever. This is happening up here in your 10th house, which is bringing your 7th house ruler into your 10th house, and the 10th house ruler is in the 10th house, whatever. But what that means is obviously you are finishing up something important. This is a successful house. You're signing a contract, going back on a contract, or your partner and you commit into moving in together, or changing your living situations around that time, or renewing a lease, or whatever. Something about a contract. Retrograde, would I sign in now? You could sign contracts under retrograde. Will they last forever? No, that's just fine with me. I tell people, if you do things under retrograde, that's okay. Just know that that shit has an expiration date. So some things are not meant to last forever. Like if you sign a lease on that day, like you really think that you're gonna you're gonna live there forever. You know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind, okay? So then let's go into now, which is some changes to your live relationships. Honestly, some of you may part ways, especially when Jupiter goes into Taurus. You may not want to be feeling like being in a relationship that doesn't serve you anymore. So a lot of you will be like taking your own way because Jupiter's in the 6th house. So I will be honest with you about that. Changes. The nodes has been in Taurus and Scorpio for the last year, which is 6 and the 12th sign away from you, which for some of you Sag, it could have popped up new work, environment, health changes, things with pets, uncles, aunts. Some of you have new businesses, services that are making you money. Some of you have definitely dived in to a lot of new spirituality, astrology, because the 12th house was getting eclipsed. Some of you even went on long distance trips, so shout out to that. Now the nodes are switching into your 5th and the 11th, which is going to be the North node is in Aries, which is going to trine you, bring you more riskier moves, want you to put yourself out there. In the 5th house away from you makes you think about your children, your heart, things that you have passionate ideas, go to school. This is going to make you want to date people. You want to go and explore different ventures because it's more of an exciting house. So wish that for you. My big daddy Saturn, though, I kind of left him to the end. Usually I talk about him right away because honestly everybody feels Saturn and he's the big hitter always. He's going to move into a 4th house away from you. It's going to be a square because Saturn will be entering Pisces, which is a mutable sign, and it squares your mutable sign, Sagittarius. So what does that mean when it goes into the core of your house? I had that. That was during the pandemic, bitch. That is intense. Okay. The 4th house means that one, you're going to be moving around a lot. There will be definitely big changes happening in your mother's side of the family or your home for sure. Saturn also makes you purge out all emotional crap that you've always been storing, Sag, and baby, you's a big baby. So get ready to purge. Saturn in this house will bring up all ancestral trauma, karma, feelings, things, whatever. I thought about every woman in my family and a bunch of shit went through my mind. So always keep that in mind, that because when you keep feeling down, this kind of makes you sad throughout the year. Mind you, it's going to be there for 3 years. So starting 2023 all the way to 2025, he is cleaning up the 4th house, which is good for you, Sag. I'm a North Node Sag. I haven't been able to stay in a permanent home of mine since like, I don't know from when. So that means God is going to send us a home finally, right? I haven't been able to maintain my clothes in one space for a long period of time. That's the 4th house. Things that you not necessarily own because that's the 2nd house, but these are things that you find that create your life easier. These are the things that you find comfortable. I haven't been feeling comfortable. I'll tell you that shit. So, Sag, I know you haven't been feeling comfortable in some area of your life somehow. But remember that one is in here. It will cause these different feelings to happen within you, and it could be a crazy ride. Obviously, it opposes your 10th house. Keep that in mind. Saturn and sorry, Pisces will always oppose your Virgo house, always. And it's your 10th house of career, so some of you may be really building your own thing. Again, Saturn rules your second house of finances, resources, things that you own, which is funny because now you get to own these things, you get to keep them and make you comfortable. And I wish that for you, Sag. And then it's also the ruler of your third house of communication. So the inner monologues that you may be having may not be the best for you. And I might need you to change that because it'll psychologically change you, and it could bring you to the wrong path. But on a positive note is some of you really will take your family and put them on your sleeve, meaning like you're going to be carrying a lot of weight on you from your families, trying to get your family more money, more resources, get them together, trying to have more conversations with your mother's siblings. You know, this is a third house of associates, which is your neighbors, cousins, people that are familiar to you, that you see every day. Now you're really figuring out who's really there for you, and that might be a shocker coming up next. So Sag, I really wish that for you, babe. I wish you clean up house. I wish that you get a better groups of people in your life. You deserve that. I wish you to be able to keep your own shit, you know? Another thing that's the Pisces is doing, Pisces has a Sagittarius in the 10th sign away. So if you count it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The 10th house is important because Saturn builds the 10th house. That is what he likes. That is the house that he's enjoying in. The 10th house is wherever your sun, moon in Sagittarius or rising in Sagittarius is, which means we're building a new motherfucking bear. That's a fact. You're becoming more high quality. Some people may not be ready for the changes that you're bringing in. You're becoming more reserved. You're building you, baby. It's good. You're building a character a lot. It's interesting because when Saturn was in Capricorn, my personality completely changed because I am a sun in Libra, which Capricorn would have. The 10th place would be Libra. And I remember after that, I got an attitude. I was able to tell people like it is. Like, first of all, you trying to play me, don't try to fucking play me. So also, I think then I got a better job, actually. It didn't last. I left that job this year, so it's not that I actually did not work to get that job. I got lucky, sad shit. So anyways, I do want to let you know about that. Now, Saturn will go retrograde, and it'll happen from June 17th to November 4th. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months of Saturn retrograde. Now, Saturn changes your finances. So this is a time for you to really pay attention to it. And again, it's happening from 7 degrees Pisces all the way to 0 degrees. So I'm really talking about those Sag that were born in November at the end of the month. You need to pay attention to your money. Now, it could be good or bad. I don't know your charts individually. If it's retrogrades, obviously, you may do better if you have more retrogrades, because when retrograde, people do better. So if you do not have a lot of retrogrades, it can feel like a little bit of a slowdown. So keep that in mind. So Saturn retrograding, and what else? Okay, couple things just to summarize it. To me, Sag, you're building yourself. You're gonna get a better career by the end of this transit. During the transit, some of you by the end of it. Some of you will have your own space. You will own your own things. You finally get your life organized. It's gonna be gut wrenching. Stay safe, babes. Okay, it's a little bit rough, but once you land on that nice, cushy life, you're gonna be so much happier. So hang in there. Let me know how it happens. Tell me if this resonates. Oh, moon and risings, and we're gonna start off with your career, money, and health. And then relationships, of course. And then we're going to do some of those transits of those big planets, what they're doing to you and stuff like that. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, I want you to know a couple things. Venus rules your career, how you publicly look. This is for sun, moon, and rising, especially sun and Capricorn. Saturn will always rule your finances as well. And then, so the transits of Saturn are important, and so even Uranus. So we'll also talk about that because it rules your finances. As well as the moon and Venus kind of also bring in some topics of your own personal relationships, like, like love life or associates, whatever that may be to you. All right, so big things that are happening. Jupiter's going to be into two different signs in your chart. It's going to be in the Aries house, and then it's in your fourth house, which is 4 signs away from you. And then it's going to be in your fifth house, which is 5 signs away from you, from your sun, moon, or rising placement, doesn't matter. And basically, Jupiter rules for you the way you communicate, your inner thoughts, your dialogue, things that you are good at, like skill sets. Jupiter also rules some of your expenses, your creative ventures, fulfilling some of your dreams, not goals. That's the difference. The 11th house is goals, the 12th house is more of like dreams. So when Jupiter is now in your fourth house, you have a better inner dialogue. You have better communications with yourself. You have more emotional balance. You're happier at home. You buy things that make you more comfortable. Some of you even get into some living situations. Some of you have your mother's family visiting, or your sibling could be getting in their own living situation, whatever. Some of you may even be working from home the first half of the year when Jupiter is in Aries. It will also trine your house of expenses or leisure time. So some of you may be relaxing more. That's great. Or spending more, because the 8th house is also getting trined. So I hope that makes sense to you. And when it goes in May 16th, it's going to go into your 5th house, which is going to join Uranus in the North Node. Uranus has been there since 2018. The North Node just joined it this past year. Both of those energies, Uranus and the North Node, come from your Aquarius house, which is about your self-worth. New resources of money that happened throughout the year, new different events that change how you feel about yourself. Also situations in your family from your dad's side, maybe could have had some situations pop up as well. Lovers, new ventures, new ideas, new situations that you do with your kids, for some of you, or kids that are new in your life. Something that is an opportunity that may have come for you to obtain assets, okay? So when Jupiter enters there, it'll trine your first house, who you are. So ideas come to you easier, it flows better, you getting chosen. So if you're into advertising or displaying something of yours, when Jupiter goes into Taurus, that's great. It's also a great time for you to get a name change, your status. Some of you have legal things that happen. Some of you go into traveling. It's more of a fun and exciting, riskier time for you, because that's what you're really into at that time. So that's basically Jupiter, right? Now, also keep in mind, Jupiter will go retrograde from September, which is towards the end of the year, when the sun is transiting in your 9th house of social status, things with your supervisors, you getting ready to start a new career, job, or living situation, some type of situation as well, around that time. So from September 4th into December 31st, Jupiter will go retrograde. And again, Jupiter rules legal paperwork or regular paperwork, doesn't matter, or Jupiter also changes your conversations with your associates. More expenses could come in out of nowhere around that time. So keep that in mind. That way you can see it. Some people do better on the retrograde. Maybe you have more retrograde in your chart, so just keep that in mind when Jupiter when Jupiter does go retrograde. Also check your your siblings could be going through some changes. Mother, especially if you don't live with these people, they could be having some stuff going on in their own home. So just if you care to hear about that. Now, also around that time, apparently Jupiter can also rule projects that you work on, things that you're in school for, or learning some type of certificate. Again, it can slow down anything that you've been working that's kind of mercurial, like writing, talking, social media, things with even learning or training, because Jupiter is that. Okay, so Hope that makes sense for you then. Let's get started with Saturn since it's a big player for you. So if you're a sun in Capricorn, Saturn rules your career. Obviously, it influences your soul, your identity, who you are as a person. Moon in Capricorn, it will determine things that happen in your familiar homes, from your family to your own grandmother, even your home and stuff like that, you know? And then if this is your rising, if you are a Capricorn rising, Saturn rules your first house, who you are as a person, and your finances. So let's get right into that. Saturn is going into your third house. It actually in Vedic astrology be one of the best placements for Saturn to be in. Actually, it makes the third house is about your mind, skill sets, learning. It's about communications. You'll be more argumentative with people. It's about important paperwork, social media, starting projects, perfecting a skill, focusing on it for the next 3 years, focusing on your projects for the next 3 years. As you can see, December 30th is the date that I got on this transit chart for the example. Mind you, look at Saturn is only at 3 degrees. So I'm really only referring to those that are born late December, early January. You guys are the ones that are going to really feel it. Look at it at 3 degrees. So it only goes up to 7 anyways. So I hope that makes sense. When it goes into the third house, like I said, there's many things that it will do there for 3 years. If you don't live with your mother, there's a lot of changes going on in her home. If you live with your parents, just know that this will be making you more intense situations with the elders in your home. Keep that in mind. You have more responsibility. This is the house of courage. So you'll start taking courage onto things, focusing on desires that you truly want. Like I said, it's the ruler of your first and second and the third. So it's like you're working these things and you're trying to get them to get started or build, whatever that may be. Saturn will always be opposing your Sagittarius house, which is your ninth house, is the status house for you, Capricorn, is the house of your grandparents, the house of your father, the house of you like finishing school or learning something or going on a trip, legal situations that some Capricorns are going through. So meaning that you're going to face this, you're going to work on it. It's going to be continuously be brought up from the surface throughout the next 3 years. I would come up with a 3-year plan, so you can kind of work on this 3-year plan, so it could get done and executed. What do I mean by that? So, like for instance, I would work. Let's say you wanted to be a social media star, or you wanted to learn how to code. The third house is the great house to start a project that requires a lot of thinking, a lot of mental gymnastics, or having to do more in your daily. Saturn here will be trining your relationship houses in 11th house. So if you're trying to open up a business, this is great for you, opening a business, because it's going to allow you to reach markets, places that you haven't reached before. This is also making you make moves with your partner. Your partner may have to take life a little bit more serious and get stuff started in their life, whether you guys move in together. But it's becoming a little bit intense and serious for Saturn. Some of you may have to deal with legal battles. Your partner specifically may have to have some legal battles to handle. Some of you may have to, like I said, work projects with friends or online projects. That is cool. Saturn will be building your 12th house, or the Sagittarius house, which technically is your 12th house to your sun, moon, or rising, which is your blind spot. It's going to change habits that you have. It's going to change your expenses that you've been having, where you've been spending your money at. That's going to change. It's going to change what you think is creative. Your creative ventures may become more serious. Spiritual may become more serious. You may reach more merchandise or get into a broader market, if that makes sense. If you are in a business situation, this can make you face losses. This can make you face the uncomfortable. Honestly, it's the unknown. You're walking into that, which means you are building something, Capricorn. When I see you doing the unknown, that means you going with, again, a gut feeling for a lot of you. So that is a good thing. When Saturn is done, it'll build this 12, this Sagittarius house for you 3 years from now. Most of the time, when did I have that? I haven't had that in a while, so I can't use that as an example. But most of the times when I've seen people have Saturn in their third house, like for instance, Sagittarius had them, they tend to make big moves and risk in their lives. They also start getting a little bit more grounded and serious with their own ventures. So I guess that's a good thing, right, Sag? Capricorn, and it will be happening between June 17th when the sun is in your sixth house, in the house of work, health, and daily routines for you, all the way to November, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 month span. When that happens, it could be changes with your health or actually finances again. So depending on how retrograde does for you, you obviously would know more, duh. So just for reference, go ahead and take a picture of that. Okay. And one thing that I would definitely tell you to look out for is more family stuff, because Saturn is making it make moves. Now you have to like actually face the music of whatever situation has been pending for some of you Capricorns, and making things more official, getting more organized. So that's what I would say. Career wise is better than actually family wise. Mercury retrograde is going to be going retrograde 4 times a year. It's going to be in Earth's energy. Actually, Mercury actually rules your ninth house and sixth house, Capricorn, which is your work environment, health, co-workers, karmic things that are pending. The ninth house is the house of you, God, your belief system, your relationship with your elders like grandma and or grand or your father figure. So when Mercury does these retrogrades, it will be changing your routine or anything going on at work for sure, or anything karmic that's been pending that you have to face and actually work on. So take a look at these retrograde periods. We have one coming up April 21st and May 14th. When that will be happening, sometime will be in the fifth house of your chart. So this is actions that you have to take. Old lovers that could come back, still this could be old people you used to work with, have fun with, collab with. Could be you working on a goal with your partner, and trying to execute to get it done, going out with friends maybe, depending on how it is. This could be an important conversation that you may need to have with your partner. Some of you, or even if you're not in a relationship, this could change your routine and whatever you're learning, going to school for, working on project-wise, whatever idea may slow down or may need you to require more steps or face the music of some sort. So I hope that makes sense. Now, for the second retrograde we got going on, we have one in August 23rd to September 15th, and that will be happening in your ninth house, away from your sun, moon, or rising, away from you, those placements. And it's about your bosses, careers, or important legal shit that you might be waiting for. This could be a flight. This could be that your partner, this is actually more of a conversation than the other one. The other one is more fun. Mercury Taurus is more fun with your partner, while this one is a little bit more, you got to actually talk about this. So keep that in mind. Then we have the last one will be happening in December 13th to January 1st, which is important. It's going into your 12th house. This could be some type of changes to your partner's routine. This could be some changes to your what you work or do at work. This could be some time for you to take off work maybe during that time. This will be obviously this is happening at the end of the year, so I hope that makes sense. Now let's talk about the Jupiter retrograde. Jupiter does go retrograde between September 4th all the way to December, which is the ending of the year. Now, Jupiter does bring changes to your expenses and where your mindset is at. So when it goes retrograde, it could bring you anxious thoughts or things that you feel like you're not fulfilling. So, like I said, Jupiter going retrograde slows down these projects, whatever Saturn has been working on, or the creative ventures. So that's why I wanted to give it to you, because maybe that time your priority might be on something different. I think a lot of you may be just trying to get your life settled more comfortably, if I was to summarize that in a long process. So yeah, Capricorn, a couple other things that happen. So yes, we have Jupiter moving into two different signs, bringing you new comforts and joys, hobbies, right? Saturn is stationing for 3 years. And then the North nodes, let's finish that up. So you've been having the North node and the South node in your 5th house and 11th house away from yourself. Some of you let go of goals that you were in no longer serving you, or friends that are no longer serving you. Some now are into, some of you have children, pregnant, some of you are into new relationships, new business ventures, because the 5th house brought you some fast money somehow. Now the nodes are switching into your 4th and 10th house, which the North node will be in your 4th house. You should definitely take care of your body a lot more. It will be bringing a lot of changes to your family as well. The ruler of your 2nd and the 4th, there could be some expansion. So like new people, like having children, or changing how you eat. Some of you have to do some type of surgeries, because that's what the 4th house, the North node, is in there. Now the South node is telling you to getting away from old jobs. So some of you may start a job, unless that job is like research based, or like science, or it requires a lot of like interpersonal connections. It won't really work. Or maybe you change the status, or a lot of bosses leave, because K2's in your 10th house, letting go of bosses' careers, looks that don't, if you've been dressing down, now it's time to dress up. Those are the times that, the South node brings some Scorpio changes into your life. So I hope that makes sense. Stay safe. Okay. Then we're going to have Venus in your 8th house for a couple months, actually. Venus will be there for like 4 or 5 months. But for 3 months, it definitely will go retrograde. Venus is the ruler of your lovers, children's, hobbies, things that you find fun and entertaining, even some of your Dharma actions. So some of your actions have to change. And Venus is also the ruler of your career, bosses, crisis, transformations, like of an importance, responsibility, or some type of transformation that can occur. Again, this is the 8th house it's, it could be for your child. Maybe your child has some surgery or some big changes in their life, It could be your boss. They may be getting plastic surgery, Or they could be going through some career moves. Like that would be the time that you want to look at. And that'll be between July 28th all the way to, let's see. What? Nobody wants to tell me July. Oh, why am I bothering when we could go right here? July 28th, Venus, 22nd all the way to September 3rd. And that'll be going on right there, especially starting off for those late born Capricorns, those born the 19th or the 18th of January, going all the way back to the early born by the time September hits. So pay attention to stuff like that around that time with your life, okay?